Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And check out that eye, that's exactly what we want to see. Woo, look at that panel, baby. And that, as they say, is that. How's it going, all you Minties? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. And join me today for my overview of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Recharged Deluxe Edition from Boom Studios. So, let's go ahead and get started. And welcome back, everybody. So what we're looking at here is the latest deluxe edition of the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers book. And this is Power Rangers Recharged. So it is sort of like a part one of this two-part storyline that will be wrapped up with the next deluxe edition. And that one comes out later this year, and that is Darkest Hour. So if you're wanting to know the reading order of this, where this takes place in the reading order of Mighty Morphin Power Ranger comics, well, we're going to be looking at the spines really quick. Maybe I'll do a thorough reading order when the last book comes out of this set. I think it's the last one. The Darkest Hour, I think, wraps up this era before there's a reboot. And please in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. But what you need is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, not to be confused with Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, book 1, 2, and 3. Even though it's Mighty Morphin issues and Power Ranger issues, both of them kind of combine together to make issue 100 that takes place here. So this continues from issue 100. So if you're putting them on your shelf, this is what it will look like. And while we have the spine here, Boom Studios, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the Power Rangers logo right there, Recharged, and then Melissa Flores, Adam Cesare, Megan Caramena, Robert Meneus, Simona D. Gianfelice, and Kath Lobo, Marco Rena, and Mobes Hidalgo, Federico Sabantini, and Sebastian Perez. And I'm going to go ahead and apologize to everyone's name I just butchered. Sorry about that. So the Boom Studios logo, the Hasbro logo on the right-hand side, and the ISBN, retail price $75, which I believe has been the retail price of these books since they've come out. And for these deluxe editions, they do love putting different Rangers on the cover. Like, that's the Death Ranger there. We've had the Red Ranger, the Green Ranger. But who is this exactly? All right. And as always, yes, you have a foil. Yeah, you see that? It's like a red foil that is wrapping the book up. And right here as well with that Mighty Morphin Power Rangers logo. So that is something to keep in mind, is it's gone back to the days of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, back to the legacy numbers, so that's why that logo there looks like that. No dust jacket, just art on board. So let's go ahead and open it up, and I'll give you the picture of the story, and we'll look at this artwork together and look at all the extras. All right, let's go ahead and open this deluxe edition up. There's your end sheets, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, and some more praise for the stories in here. And who is this new villain? So Melissa Flores taking the billing for the writing there, who I think worked on Power Rangers. I have a really good friend of mine that watched and watches every season. I know that it has not come back on, but he is a huge Mighty Morphin Power Rangers fan since season 1. I've always laid it out there that I've never really watched the show outside of Forever Red and a couple of the other episodes that he made me watch while we were drinking. But so I'm coming at it from a comic book reader angle. And then, of course, I collected some of the Megazords, the toys. And then illustrated by Simona Di Gianfelice, Kath Lobo, Marco Rena, colors by Raul Angulo, who really brings it all together, and a few assistants here. And then lettered by Ed Dukeshire, who has been lettering these books from the very beginning. And he has been through a lot of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Obviously more than 100 issues. So collected in here is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers issues 101 to 110. Power Rangers Unlimited, the coinless one-shot, and Power Rangers Unlimited Hyperforce. And what exactly is Hyperforce? Well, we're going to find out maybe together. All right. So it starts off with a flashback on Earth 10,000 years ago, where you have this fight between Rita Repulsa and Zordon. And she is swearing that she is going to strip him of all the powers and calling him a fool. 10,000 years ago, right? This is the story of where she gets put into that trash can, I guess. And you see the dragon coin right there in her eyeball, like a reflection of what is to come. And then Zordon feeling something in the present day. Now, I want to go ahead and state, this is after the events of issue 100, which some of the status quo has changed. So, I guess minor spoilers for what happened previously, and then I'll talk a little bit more about the book in depth, because this was a lot of fun. And please remind me, I lost my dad last October, so that particular time of me making videos last year, September, October, November, when he was in the hospital, like all the way till the beginning of the year, is one big blur. So I cannot remember if I made a video for book 3 of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. So let me know, and I'll be happy to go back and do, I guess, another overview. I don't mind at all. I really enjoy talking about these stories. All right, so in the aftermath of the Death Ranger going after the Omega Rangers. So the Omega Rangers are, of course, these characters that were in the original season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. You have Jason, you have Trini, and Zack, and they end up leaving to become the Omega Rangers along with some cat-like creature named Yell. So now the replacements are here with Aisha, Adam, and Rocky. And you have Tommy becoming the White Ranger, and Kimberly is the Pink Ranger still. The Green Ranger is a new character that was made up for the comics, and his name is Matt. You've got the characters of Bulk and Skull here, and they've been characters since issue number 1. Since Mighty Morphin really happens, the way that it kicks off is after the events of the Green Ranger saga, like the 5-issue Green Ranger saga where Tommy becomes good again. And they kind of do their own thing. So it's inspiration by not just Power Rangers, but of course the original Sentai series. So after the whole Death Ranger thing, what ends up happening is that Jason leaves the team for a reason, to just come be with his dad. And the Red Ranger power goes to Trini. So now there's like an absent of a Yellow Ranger. So the Rangers get called to the moon. The moon's been missing for a while. And now the Dragon Zord with these awesome wings get called to the moon. And they're like, okay, obviously it's a trap. They're taking Matt along with them, who really isn't like one of the members of the team, but he's actually here on a mission, so that's really cool. And they see that Goldar, one of their villains, is being chased by these new putties. And these new putties are kind of a sign of things to come. So they take down these putties, and Goldar's like, she's wiping us all out. And they're like, what are you talking about, dude? What's going on? And he's like, we're all doomed. And in here, they find, some of Rita Repulsa's enemies, some of Lord Zed's enemies, including the Royal Throne. By the way, if you've been watching the show, or if you watched the show when you were a kid, oh my gosh, there's so many Easter eggs here for you all. So they're in the darkness, and here we have the Green Ranger, the Pink Ranger, and the White Ranger together. And what Kimberly, who has awesome moments in this whole volume, like, she really shines. It shows, like, the character arc through here of how far she's come. She lights up the room with this arrow, and they notice that Zed is there, and he is being stabbed by this woman right here. And this is Mistress Vile, which we'll talk a little bit about when we go through the next few issues. And then, of course, the shadowy figure, the stranger that's back there. We get a flashback here of Matt pretty much being the type of character that will set up who he will become as the Green Ranger. He ends up getting the popcorn for everybody and decides, I'll just carry it for everybody. They're my friends, while everybody kind of leaves him behind, foreshadowing the things to come. So with this fight between Mistress Vile and this new character, this new villain known as the Vessel, they wipe the floor with the Power Rangers. I mean, keep in mind, she just ripped the helmet off of Lord Zed, and this is what Lord Zed looks like, this nasty skeleton there. And she ends up wiping the floor with the White Ranger and the Green Ranger. They have not, they cracked the helmet open. So Matt decides to stay behind while the rest of the Rangers go back to Earth, taking Serpentera with them, the spaceship. And yeah, it's a brutal fight. Like, she depowers Kimberly immediately, like, just throws her across the room, and she is depowered. That shows you exactly how this new character of Mistress Vile is. Now, of course, I don't have to tell you all. I'm pretty sure you can figure it out. She's really not a new character. As a matter of fact, it is explained through here that she was once Rita Repulsa, so she is back, and she is back with a new style. So leaving Matt behind, Kimberly's heartbroken. Even though they're not together, As a matter of fact, she finds out that him and Aisha have kind of been flirting. Again, just building these characters, not just their professional side, but their personal side of things, is something that I think the writers have done really well, whether it was Matt Broom or Ryan Parrott, and then, of course, before that, Kyle Higgins. But that's what this sets up, this new villain that has tried to destroy Lord Zed, and she is after something called the Zeo Crystals, and she goes by the name Mistress Vile, and Zordon studies Lord Zed's body, and they have a flashback to when they were friends, and they come to learn that she is after these Zeo Crystals because she's made a pact with someone called Dark Spectre. Now, Dark Spectre is something they've been building for a while. I think it was in Ryan Parrott's issues that Dark Spectre was first mentioned. If not, please let me know in the comments below. I know in the TV show, the character played a big part in Space, I think is what it was. My buddy Ben kind of coached me through these in the past, because I'm genuinely curious. Now, even though Jason is no longer a Power Ranger, he is still there. He's still part of the story. He's here actually training Bulk and Skull. You have Zordon and Grace talking about what to do with Lord Zed exactly, whether she should take him, to her secret lab, or whether he should stay here. So what ends up happening is that Bulk and Skull are training under Jason, or trying to train under Jason, and then everyone is attacked. There's monsters that are coming, and these Dark Spectre putties are now attacking them. And this is when there's a disagreement, when Kimberly actually comes down with her Zord and destroys the putties. And Tommy's like, "Hey, what are you doing out there? You know the rules Zordon laid out. You know we can't be doing that." So this whole volume here, and I'll look at the extras and then I'll go into spoilers, because I do want to talk about the rest of this for people that love this series. This whole volume is all about setting up this Mistress Vile, who she really is, what she wants to do with the Zeo Crystals, who the vessel is, and then, of course, what role is Lord Zed going to play in all this, and who is Dark Spectre? And if she is Mistress Vile, then who is Vile? And then at the very end, the last thing I'll talk about is the return of this character, and that is Alpha 1. Now, the book has 424 pages. Let's look in the back. So in the very back, we have the cover gallery, which we always have with these Boom Studio Power Rangers Deluxe Editions. Some of the stuff in here does happen within the story, and some of it, it's just, I don't want to call it fan art, because these are professional artists that are putting up these illustrations. Each one of these will tell you where they originally came from, and then, of course, who the cover artist was. Now, again, some of them actually happen within the story, and others not so much. Others are what I like to call some kind of fan fiction, because there's obviously I read the whole thing, and there's characters in here that I don't remember showing up. Now, of course, if you're a fan of the show, you probably know. And the toy variants, which I still love that they do that. Character designs. So for the character designs, so I will actually leave that because there are some spoilers in there for some of the designs. But what I want to do is showcase the binding here with that eye. It is sewn binding and printed in this thick, glossy paper stock. Now, let's have some fun and talk about major spoilers that happen in this and what it's going to set up. Alright, let's get into some spoilers, because when we are talking about Mistress Vile, we are, of course, talking about Rita Repulsa. Pretty sure you all could put that together. And the whole idea of this book is setting up towards the next event, and that's going to be the Darkest Hour event. So what happens through here is she's had this vessel with her. It looks a lot like the character from Radiant Black, honestly. And this vessel is really mysterious at first. You don't know who this vessel is until you get to chapter 4, where you get a little bit of information. I love the Vile's ship, looks like Vile's head, as to how she came to power again, and how she became Mistress Vile from being Rita Repulsa. So this is a really cool double-page spread showcasing pretty much her life and the high points in her life, and things that we've seen in the comic book, and perhaps you've seen in the TV show. How she lost the Zordon, how she was imprisoned away, and how Lord Zed sent her away. But also like how she found each of these different I guess her, I don't want to call them minions, but her warriors, her guardians, if you will. But like Squad and Finster and Goldar over here. And I like that. But who ends up finding her is none other, so this works like a flashback, than Divatox, who's a character from Turbo. I believe she appeared in the Turbo movie. But here she is reunited with Vile. And Master Vile is pretty much just telling her that she's useless. Here's where we see the connection between her and Alpha 1. So then we see this planet called Infernus. And this is when things take a turn. We see Lord Vile here talk to Darkonda, this character right here. And then he starts talking to Dark Spectre. Dark Spectre is like in this child right here, and he tells him that he is looking for a vessel. So that's what this is. This is about finding a vessel for none other than Dark Spectre. And what Master Vile offers is Alpha 1. And Dark Spectre's like, no, it's a freaking robot. However, this is when Rita turns on Vile. And also, Alpha 1 decides to turn on Vile, and both of them team up, and now she becomes Mistress Vile. And you have the character Dark Spectre remake her. So we have a new vision of what she looks like here. And her whole goal is she promises him that she's going to get him a vessel. Now, at first, you're led to believe that it probably will be Matt, the Green Ranger, who was left behind. Here's the new Yellow Ranger, Kevor. And you start seeing the relationship between Trini and Zach start building here. They've hinted at it for a little bit, and then he gets a little jealous because he finds out that her and Jason had a thing. So you have all these relationships, not them just having adventures. 11 here telling them that there is an emergency, and then we catch up with, again, Alpha 1 right here that's about to fight the Rangers of Earth. So you have the return of the Omega Rangers that come in to help them fight off against this Alpha 1. And I love this Thunder Zord right here merge that happens with the Omega Rangers. And then, of course, what is a Power Ranger story without a couple of them getting kidnapped? So this leads into what's happening on Earth. When you have the character of Grace talking about how she should take Lord Zed's body with her. And then you have Tommy and Kimberly not agreeing with each other. Zordon talking about how he thinks that part of this plan has to do with him because he has such a strong connection to Zed from his past. And it is true because something's happening on Earth. So again, we go back here and we see Zed is imprisoned. Grace holding him back, but he ends up escaping. And even though he just got his ass handed to him by Mistress Vile, he ends up escaping from here and turns one of the morphers upside down right here. Yeah. And it's morphin time. Now we have a new Ranger. He's become the Zed Ranger, and that's what's on the cover. Or I guess the Z Ranger or the Lord Zed Ranger. And that will come to play when you find out who the vessel is. So through a series of flashbacks, you find out that the vessel is none other than Zordon's body, but just his body because his mind is still that floating head, right? You have the return of Kia, who's been freed from her prison by none other than Lord Draken. And this is all leading into one big fight. That will happen later when Dark Spectre is reborn. So, the coinless one-shot. This is a really cool story. So we have the return of Lord Draken, and you have the character of Kia come back. And what he's doing is he's forming his own team of Rangers. Now, they don't have power coins. Of course, this is coming from his Earth. And it's kind of almost like his redemption arc, this particular Tommy from that dimension. It's got the Ranger Slayer there, Kimberly, of course, that version of her. And what we are going to get is none other than, I guess, the Drakon Rangers, if you will. The Lord Draken Rangers. So that's what that's about. And then we have Hyperforce. And Hyperforce is a new team of Power Rangers right here. And They are, I don't know if there was a show on these characters or not. This is a different team than the ones that are on Earth, and the different team than the Omega Rangers, and a different team than the Coinless Rangers, or I guess the Lord Draken Rangers. And this is the Hyperforce Rangers. So I'm not sure if these are based on a TV show or not. And I think these are not Dino Thunder, but Wild Force Rangers right here that show up. So again, if you're a fan of the TV show, you're going to get a kick out of all the Easter eggs and all the people that are showing up through here. So in the end, with the help of the Zeo Crystal, does Mistress Vile succeed in her plan in giving Dark Spectre a vessel? Well, that's where it continues into the Darkest Hour. Now, the extra story in here is Getting Ahead. I don't think this was published in single issue format. This is a story about what happens to Zordon's body after it is lost, and where it goes, and how it got frozen later on, because later on you find out that it was frozen. And then, of course, the covers. So, just a quick little recap of the spoiler part of this book, and I can't wait for the next deluxe edition, The Darkest Hour. And that, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this deluxe edition, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code nearmintcondition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know Near Mint Condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this deluxe edition. In the comments down below, let me know if you are picking this up, if you are excited for the next deluxe edition that kind of wraps up this era, I think. Please correct me if I'm wrong again in the comment section, which I know you all do not shy away from correcting when I'm wrong, and I am okay with getting corrected. Happens every day in my household. Not just by my wife, but my 2 daughters as well. Anyway, yes, let me know if you're excited for the next exciting installment of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers in Deluxe Edition. Everyone, stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.